And we are recording? Yes.
Can you just move one of the tables towards the door?
That would take so many minutes of effort. That's fine.
Yeah,
We have everyone's currently on camera.
Plus, I'm comfortable where I'm at. So.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Drexel Freethought Society. This is the first meeting of the winter 2013, and also the winter term because we understand how dates work. I do.
Hi, Myers.
Yeah,
Yes.
how's it going, Mines?
That
Joe,
was an April Fool's joke. Didn't you guys
guys,
say
I'm talking.
it? No, you're not.
Okay, we are going to actually have a bit of a format change to prevent basically what just happened from happening.
Yes.
So I'm going to start off everything with a short rundown of what the subject that we're talking about is, as well as a little intro to the topic, which I guess I just repeated, but it doesn't matter.
Redundancy is redundant.
Yes, it is. Now, the subject we have to this week is going to be, what is Freethought? It's a basic introduction for new members. This is our kind of new member who's kind of returning. And anyone who wants to know what's going on with the group can see this video and understand what we're all about. So anyway, the Drexel Freethought Society is the only secular, or I guess the only expressly secular organization at Drexel University. We promote science, reason, discussion of... You don't always promote text messaging.
Well, you're texting.
I understand who's talking to me. Stop it.
Anyway, can we get back on track?
Guys, actually, honestly, we can't do this anymore. If we want this thing to get more popular, we have to be able to let one person talk. That includes you. Anyway, I didn't even have a train of thought to start with.
You were explaining what the Drexel Freethought Society is about.
Yes. Okay. Okay. The Drexel Freethought Society's mission is to establish and support a secular community at Drexel for atheists, agnostics, humanists, any freethinkers. We're very open to people of different religious beliefs, but if they have them, they have to know that they're going to be questioned, just like everybody else. That's kind of the hallmark of what free thought is to this group. It's the open exchange of ideas, questioning everything and being skeptical of everything, admitting when you're wrong and pushing things that you think are right. We discuss a whole array of different subjects. It doesn't matter. We talk about religion, we talk about philosophy, we talk about food, we talk a lot about relationships.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have, like, half of our videos are about relationships.
I don't think it's that often.
It doesn't matter. It's just one of the subjects. We talk about everything, and we enjoy it. That's what this club is about. And we try to promote ourselves through this podcast and through hosting different events with some of the other free-thinking communities in Philadelphia. This month, or I guess this term, we hope to host several different events. But we'll probably get into that later. Right, so that's kind of my brief intro on what the club is about. Let's move into general introductions of each other, or of ourselves, and what you guys think free thought is.
I guess that'll be me since I am the Vice President of the Drexel Freethought Society. I'm Dante Hinson. Hello, how you doing?
Talk louder.
I am Dante Hinson, Vice President of the Drexel Freethought Society. Hello, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And I guess I will give my own brief rundown of what I think free thought is, because it pretty much runs in sync with what David just said. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm definitely a skeptic. I do admit that I'm quite the cynic, a little bit pessimistic, but I'm realistic in that I realize that when good things can happen, I do push for that. I'm not a total Debbie Downer and think that the whole entire world's going to end, like some people thought not too long ago. But yes, I'm all about free exchange of ideas, and that's basically the hallmark of free thought. Is stepping outside of that box. I feel as if, and it's just my personal opinion, that a lot of people, they hold on to certain ideas and beliefs, but do not leave themselves open to new ideas or beliefs. They create a closed system for themselves. And I feel as if when you do that, when you don't allow information to come in, you remain in this bubble of ignorance, and sometimes that turns into fear and hate, jealousy, all those negative emotions and things that you feel, because you feel as if that whatever you believe in is right, and you just leave it at that. Hold on, the computer's.
Yep.
Excuse me. My apologies.
Technically, it still works.
Okay. All right, just make sure I'll plug that in. When you don't,
Joe, can you like periodically code it?
Okay.
yeah, I'll plug it in and it'll stop doing that. But when you leave yourself closed-minded to new ideas, new thoughts, debate, you develop that bubble of ignorance, and whenever you do decide to step out of that bubble, you're usually very afraid, or you're angry, or if somebody challenges you, you feel much more offended. And I think that's very detrimental, especially when you have world leaders, CEOs, people who are in really large positions, think that way. And that's why some businesses have collapsed, because they don't allow input from people who've been in the business longer than they have, or even people below them. In short, in closing, I feel as if everybody should, lift that lid off their head, leave that brain open, allow information to come in, allow it to come out, share your knowledge. There's no reason, unless you're like some top secret spy working for the CIA or anything, there's no reason for you to hold on to knowledge and just hoard it for yourself. It doesn't do you any good if you can't, better the society around you.
My name is Aksa. I doubt you'll be able to hear me because I can't project like these guys can. I will try.
Talk louder.
I can't talk any louder than this, trust me.
She
Unless I
talks
yell
louder
at
when she
someone.
whines.
Okay.
But my idea of free thought is that you question what's around you. You don't necessarily take what someone says blindly. You actually go out and research. It's like a scientific method to me, kind of, when you like formulate a hypothesis about something, and you do research to understand what a certain subject is about, instead of just saying, oh, well, this is what one person told me, so I'm just going to go with it. Because you should have an opinion of your own, but you should also have something to back it up.
I already went.
Oh, I guess it's my turn.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Izzy. This is kind of sort of my first meeting, because the first one I kind of just like came, but then like the rest of the term I had classes during the meeting. So anyway, free thought. I guess it's just like unrestricted thought, like thought that you don't have to, like, freedom from superstition, freedom from something that has absolutely no basis whatsoever, in the real world. So yeah.
Joe, stop playing games.
Is this somebody?
What would you like to say?
Honestly, I have nothing to say.
Come on, introduce yourself, and let me hear your opinion, man. What's your opinion on free thought? I mean, you're here for a reason, right?
I'm just here for the food.
There's no food though.
There's food?
He's got Mentos. Come on,
Can I have some Mentos?
It's all gone.
Oh.
give it a shot, man. What's your idea of free thought? What brings you into the table?
Well, to be honest, I don't really have a clear definition of what I think free thought is. But from what I can probably tell you from personal experience, basically just get a bunch of people together and talk about different subjects that we probably think should be talked about.
Like?
Like relationships!
Yeah. Relationships, what do you want?
I feel like we talk about relationships so much because you don't just have between a guy and a girl, or a guy and a guy, or a girl and a girl, but like, there's more than just intimate relationships. You have a relationship with everyone in the world.
Well, yes.
It's true. I've heard
See-
of those. I've heard of those.
Okay, and I'm sorry to keep this track a little derailed for a little bit longer, but I think there's a difference between like friendly love and then intimate love.
Yes, there is a difference. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying relationships aren't strictly defined as intimate. There's other types of relationships.
Well, yes.
That's all
Like
I'm
enemy
saying.
relationships.
Oh, you guys.
What?
Like enemy relationships.
Yeah, of course.
These
Everyone has
guys,
enemies.
these guys know about that so much.
So
Oh, all girls have enemies somewhere in the
I'm
world.
sorry.
When it comes to
We're in the
girls,
counterpoint section right now.
I was
We have 4 minutes until the counterpoints. So,
I'll just-
anyone want to give any more personal definitions of anything, or we can just move right on to the counterpoints.
Go ahead, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that I think it happens between girls more often because we see each other as like, how do I say this?
Very sexist, I imagine.
Yeah, like sexist, but like we look at each other and we point out everything that's bad about each other, which I think is like a really dumb thing to do. You're supposed to look at a person, see mostly their good points. Everyone has bad points. We should try to get beyond that and look at their good points. But when it comes to girls, even I do this sometimes, and I feel really bad when I realize I'm doing it. But I'll look at their clothes, I'll look at what shoes they're wearing, what bag they have, and be like, why am I doing this? Like, why?
I feel like I'm being judged right
I'm
now.
not trying to judge you, but like I don't know. Sometimes it's just like it just happens. Like and sometimes I catch myself doing it. I'm like, well, what they're wearing doesn't have anything to do with who they are. But I find myself doing that all the time.
Yeah, so free thought, we encourage that.
It's just one aspect of it.
All right, we're gonna just move right along to counterpoints. Does anyone have any questions to anybody who gave any of their explanations?
I'm good.
Thank you, Joe. No, I mean, I realize this is much less of a debate kind of subject, so counterpoints don't necessarily have to be that you're wrong. They could just be just questions. Wait a second.
I actually have some questions. When I first joined the Freethought Society, I actually didn't understand what freethought was. So, is there a certain definition for it, or is it just what you think freethought is?
Yeah, and can I add on to that? I'm curious, like, why you choose the name Freethought Society instead of like maybe skeptics or, you know, atheists or, you know, something, or secular student society or something, you know.
These are all very fair questions.
Can I put my opinions in it?
Well,
Of course you can.
Wait, Joe has something to say.
well, to be fair, I don't think anyone wants to come to a group called the Atheists.
Come to the atheists. We have cake.
The cake of the lie.
I don't think it's just that we didn't want, like, I'm not gonna speak for you, but when I see Freethought Society, I'm more likely to go to it than if I see, like, atheists or secularists, because I'd be like, well, that's not how I define myself. I'm
Right.
not a secularist, I'm not an atheist, but I am a free thinker. I like to think about different things. I like to, like I said, I'm also a biologist, so I'm a scientist. I like to delve into things and not just see everything at face value, but learn more.
Sure. Okay.
It's also like, I don't understand how, but apparently lots of religious people can be free thinkers.
Oh,
So
I understand how.
I really don't.
can,
But that-
can you guys explain
It,
that? So
it doesn't matter
Okay,
to it
I-
doesn't matter to me because you guys are all anyone's welcome to this group. I just want to make it very clear that everything will be questioned.
Yeah,
So
like David questions the shit out of me. Like everything that I bring up about religion,
because I don't
he has
get
to
it.
question. He doesn't
You're
get
com-
it.
there's
No,
like
wait,
there's
wait,
such amazing
Guys!
compartmentalization.
If you don't mind me asking, what is your religion?
I'm Muslim.
Okay. Just curious.
It's like I'm a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, David.
I'm really not. Magic
Okay,
underwear. Anyway.
No, that's Mormons.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jehovah's Witnesses, to lump you in with the magic underwear.
So explain to me,
Mormons,
like, what,
Mormons wear magic underwear.
Yes.
That's part of the religion is
Yeah.
to wear magic underwear that protects
I'm
you.
pretty sure mine's
so.
Okay!
It's like what your, how you apply free thought to your, like, worldview.
Okay. The way that, yeah. Okay, what do you think? There are certain like, I don't follow my religion 100% necessarily.
Yeah, sure.
I
Sure.
do have some skepticisms, and I try to see, like, is there something else that helped me believe a little bit better. I don't know. Okay, that didn't make any sense. But I try to take my faith and not just believe what I'm just told. But like, it's hard to explain.
Is it like a thing,
This is how David gets to me. He
is
has
it
to
like a
explain.
thing, like I know some people who like, you know, they're raised, you know, Christian or Jewish or
Yeah.
Muslim, and they just, you know, they kind of go with it because like it's their you know, it's their tradition, and
Yeah,
so
like,
but then inside they're kind of like, maybe this isn't.
I never knew any other way of life. Like growing
Right.
up at home, like it was you followed a certain set of rules, and those were the only rules you followed. But when I came to college, like now I'm on my own,
Right.
and
Okay.
I'm like, well, maybe this isn't what I 100% truly believe. Like, I don't want to just blindly follow something without really thinking, okay, this is what I believe. This is what I think is right.
Okay.
I like this discussion. All right. So you asked me originally, like why we chose to keep with the name,
Yes. Go for it.
and you covered most of it very
Okay.
nicely. I don't want to scare people away
Yeah.
necessarily,
Yeah.
even though you shouldn't be scared away. But I know there's still some animosity for atheists.
Oh, yeah.
I know
Yeah, absolutely.
very well there's animosity for atheists. And that's why, and honestly, I want religious folk to come here. I want us to have robust discussions. I want people to think about their beliefs.
Okay.
I want to know more about people's beliefs. And I want everyone in the group to know more about others' beliefs.
Okay.
But quite honestly, the reason we kept this particular name is because it was the name before and I didn't want to change it. Because I have to do a lot of coding to change the website.
That right?
So I stuck with the name because the club was originally formed, I think 2 years ago, but the original people disbanded it and kind of just left it sitting there. It never actually was officially removed, so I just kind of called the people up and claimed it.
Gotcha.
So the website was still existed, the Facebook existed, all the email addresses still existed, so it was just simpler. It's kind of awkward sometimes because we're associated with the Pennsylvania, or what is it, the Freethought Society of Greater Philadelphia.
Okay.
So
That actually goes.
yeah, we co-did an event here last fall. So
Oh, okay.
that got a little weird.
That was a little-
It was like the Freethought Society and the Drexel Freethought Society presents.
Oh, okay.
Either way,
I want to really question you. Why are you here? What brought you here?
Um,
What do you expect to find here?
Wow, that's very in depth. That's a very interesting question. Okay.
I love you guys.
You're gonna be like begging me to come to the next meeting too.
I already know what we're doing for the next meeting.
Ooh, okay, so I kind of grew up without religion or anything in my house. I mean, like we were kind of like Catholic until like I got my first communion, and then my parents were like, "Yeah, we're not going to church anymore." Like I remember, like I was just kind of like, "Okay, I get to sleep in on Sundays," you know, like it wasn't that big of a deal when you're like that little. You know, when I reached high school, I was, I guess, starting to wonder a little bit more. I'm like, well, what else is out there, you know? And I wrote a book about Buddhism, and then I learned a lot about Judaism, and then I remember I went to, I was part of this show that was in a church, and part of their thing was, you know, to go to worship, and I was, you know, very open to it. And I found I really didn't like it though, because I guess what really upset me was I felt like they were kind of closed off. The one time they made us like do communion or something, and like I ate my bread too early or something, and like all these people like looked at me and like I was like, oh, sorry, like I don't know anything, you know. And like I remember, I don't know, I just felt like so different, you know. I remember we had to do these small group discussions, and this guy's like, let's go around the circle and find out how everyone feels about church, and we're just like, and you know, I'm just like, oh.
You don't ask kids that question.
Yeah, like, so, he's like, let's find out, like, what everyone's, like, religious beliefs are, so, and then I guess around my senior year, you know, my dad was really into atheism and stuff, so I started looking at his books and stuff, and I started realizing that's kind of what I believed, so, Yeah, but I didn't really, like, there was a couple, you know, one of my best friends is an atheist, but like, I didn't really know anybody else, and I didn't feel comfortable starting something like this at my high school, because, you know, my high school is like, you know, middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, very white Christian, like, you know. So, so I just figured I would try it out here, because I'm, you know, see what it was like. Okay.
Hope you're enjoying yourself.
Thank you. It's interesting.
That's good. Okay, I guess we can just transition very smoothly to the open dialogue. Let's see, a lot of us are talking about different ways that questioning everything, being open to different ideas, being skeptical, all these different traits, and we all seem to be saying that these are good things to have. So I guess we could kind of move into, is free thought good for society?
Yes.
But in what way? And how could we help?
Well,
how could we help to implement it?
If we never question anything that we're taught, like, you know, I think we would still, you know, be like letting people, you know, in hospitals, you know, we wouldn't
Okay, speak a
even.
little louder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We still don't have a mic right there.
Okay, sorry. You would still, you know, be bloodletting people, you know, I don't think you would have any of the medical advancements, scientific advancements, etc.
It's true. Those are hard to get with bloodletting.
Yeah.
I feel like free thought is important for society, not only the scientific advances, but social advances as well. If we don't question why we're doing something, then it could be bad for society. Like, an eye for an eye is in the Bible. Well, is that necessarily the right thing to do? Is it really necessary if an accident happened and someone happened to take my eye out? Should I go and stab their eye out? So like certain things like
A lot of
that.
people think yes. So how? No, a lot of people do think that's true. So how
Well,
would
I
we?
think that's I think there can be other ways. Like there should be a more utopian. Sorry, utopian is the word I was looking for. A utopian society, which a lot of people don't agree with me, but me and Dante were having a discussion the other day about like why are cities so bad, like the crime and everything, and we discussed it and we came up with, well, there's segregation, like there's economic, there's social, there's a lot of different reasons, and if we were a better society, we were able to get beyond our differences and actually try to work together, that might not exist anymore, then our cities wouldn't be as bad, we wouldn't have to be protected from our own neighbors.
I'm slowly writing down. This will be the topic for next week. This will be the topic for the week after.
Well, getting back to what you said about society, like, you know, right now we're having a lot of like advancements in gay rights and stuff, and I think if we just followed what all of our ancestors did, yeah, like I don't think we, you know, I think everyone would still be in their closets. So.
I feel everyone would be very closed-minded if we didn't have
Yes,
free thought.
precisely,
Like,
precisely.
we wouldn't be able to have all of this where we can have different religions come together, different races, different economic, social levels come together and be able to discuss and to better society.
So would you say that free thought is a right?
I do think it's a right. I think everyone should
It's
have
like a right or a privilege, I guess. I think
it's a right. I believe it's a right, but a lot of people don't see it as a right or a privilege. They just think, oh well, I don't need this. Like it's not for me, so they don't see it either way.
True.
But I really do think it's right. Like everyone has the right to think what they think. They shouldn't try to pose their opinions necessarily on anyone else, but they have the right to their opinion. They have the right to be able to think freely without being oppressed,
All
which
right.
usually doesn't happen. Which is awful.
I agree.
Good question.
No, I'm writing it. For once, I'm writing it, actually. I'm actually going to do something different for once. I'm going to file all of the events pretty much tonight for the next month.
Oh,
So
wow.
then they'll be up on the web. They'll be up on Collegiate Link for like a month. So I don't want to see them if y'all. Ooh. Anyway. Also posters.
Advertising.
Are all good.
Are we gonna do the button?
Yeah, these are things we'll talk about later. Sorry, people. We have so much administrative things we have to do. Okay, so moving on from news, I guess. Does anyone have any more things about specific rights that we think we should have related to free thought? That may be kind of quiet.
Oh,
The main reason why I'm using quiet is because I feel as if, and this is, I believe, is a big component of free thought, is that when you listen, you learn. When you talk, yeah, you can learn a bit, from people responding to you. But most of the times, it seems like a lot of people just like to talk. We like to just spew ideas out, spew our own beliefs out. But then, again, like I said before, don't take in anything. So I'm a firm believer that a lot of people, I feel as if a lot of people don't like to listen to others. Or they'll listen with the intent, with some sort of malicious and acrimonious intent to attack that person to better themselves, which I find absolutely ridiculous. And I think we've all been guilty of that at some point in our lives. I know when I was young.
If I can interject.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So you're kind of saying that free thought includes both listening and understanding.
Yes, absolutely. The will to do so, absolutely. I think people should be more willing to listen to other people and then go through three things. You should contemplate. Whenever you hear something, you should think about it. You should sit there and go, that was interesting, or I didn't like that. And then ask yourself, why did you like it and why you didn't like that? You should also evaluate. You should, I pretty much just said that as well. You should evaluate. You should be like, well, now that I thought about it and I put two and two together, I kind of don't like that idea, or yeah, I really like this idea. And then construction. If you do like that idea, if you think it's something that should be pushed, then yeah, absolutely, you should put that idea out there. You should spread that knowledge, that thing you've learned. I don't care if you learned how long the oarfish grows in the Atlantic Ocean, or I don't care if you learned about a new medical study about Staphylococcus bacteria, anything like that. You should spread this knowledge, and that's what a little bit off topic, that's what I use Facebook for. I learn stuff on the internet or what I read in my books, and I put it out there. And I like people to comment on it. I like to see what people have to say. And I've noticed that there's a certain amount of people that will respond to stuff like that. And most people would ignore it. But if I put something actually raunchy, I've done this experiment before. If I put something raunchy, something that's like R-rated or X-rated or something, you'll have more people just come in and pay attention to that. So it's like, it seems like people, and even free thinkers can be guilty of this, is that we are selective in what we want to learn. But I also feel as if there are some things, especially when it deals with your livelihood, especially when it deals with your existence, your health, your family's health, the welfare of your society and your country, so on and so forth. These are pertinent issues, especially politics. As much as I dislike politics, there are things we should pay attention to. We should pay attention to things that scientists find, because you may never know how it affects you. So, in short, what I would like is for people, it doesn't matter what religion, what race, what creed, what society, anything, any belief system, I don't care, is that you intake everything. Contemplate, evaluate, and where applicable, construct.
You just stay quiet more often. You come up with great things when you're quiet.
Yeah, wow.
That's why the most okay.
But you actually, obviously, well, hopefully. Anyway, you did raise an interesting topic though, that I just wanted to pose to the group. But you had something you wanted to say first?
I guess the one thing I wanted to say is I feel like little kids oftentimes don't really have the right of free thought, because a lot of times their parents are censoring things that they don't want them to know, or they're shoving ideas down their throats. The key example I have are the younger family. I'm seeing the look on your, and it's a show called 19 Kids and Counting. And they have 19 children, and they homeschool them all, and they have internet blocks, and if a kid gets on the internet, someone else has to sit next to them to make sure they're not going on any like unapproved websites. They don't have a TV in their house. Like, you know, how is that kid supposed to be a free thinker? You know, they're getting no access.
How's the kid supposed to
other
function
things.
in the real world?
Yeah, like they're getting no access to like, you know, and even like dating and stuff. Like apparently the dad, like if someone wants to date one of the daughters, the dad has to like interview them basically. Like you're basically giving your kid no chance to mess up and learn from your mistakes. Like that, I don't know. I just.
Ooh, that's actually an interesting topic right there.
Yeah.
The ability to make mistakes.
Yeah, precisely.
It's like, what do you guys think about that having to do with freethought? Assuming I didn't just grossly interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I was pretty much done.
Okay, good.
Everyone always says you should learn from others' mistakes. That is the worst. Excuse me. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Good catching yourself.
I think that's the worst advice anybody could give anyone. You're not going to learn from someone else's mistakes. You can only learn from your own mistakes. You can be like, okay, well, I did this. I totally screwed up. I am no longer going to do that. I'm going to do something else instead. A lot of people are like, oh, I screwed up. Well, whatever. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because it doesn't matter. But most people will try to avoid a situation like waiting until the last minute to study for a final. Not a good idea. So even I've learned from that. Like, not only waiting until the last minute, but waiting until like a few days before the final instead of like, you know, studying along the way during the term. So I've been like, but I guess like I can't really learn from anybody else's mistakes in that because I don't know how other people study for their finals. Like, it's not like I sit around with other people
Right.
and look at what they're doing.
It gets even worse when it's like life choices.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
yeah.
it's like I could want. This is completely facetious. My family has wonderful relationships, but I'm saying like say I had like a sister that had a horrible relationship. It's like, okay, I'm not a girl and I'm not my sister. It doesn't matter if she chose somebody bad at some point, even though right now she is married to the most great guy ever. I really should use myself as an example. This is terrible. Anyway, so guy X dates girl Y, and yeah, you can't learn from those sort of situations. You have to learn how to fail. You have to learn how to be horribly sad and how to dig yourself up again. Those children in that family, they're going to fail. They're going to crash hard.
I feel like I did crash hard when I came to college because before college, I was told what to do. Everything was done for me. Like, I had no clue how to live on my own.
Right.
None.
Well, I think that's why.
That's not unusual, actually, for
Yeah.
for people to do that in college.
I do have something to say.
Okay, I think that's why like the DARE programs and stuff like fail like across the board because I feel like a lot of people, they have to go into that situation to be like throwing up on the floor. I'm sorry, that's kind of a nasty image. Like to realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't, you know, drink so much next time. You know, I think that's why a lot of times that sort of thing doesn't work. So sorry, go ahead.
I'm just
Oh,
glad
no,
I find out
you don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize because it was your time to talk. But I will say that I partially disagree with the notion that you can only learn from your own.
I didn't say only.
You did say that.
I did?
Yeah, at the very beginning. You said you can only learn from the mistakes that you make.
Yeah.
What it is that, and that's what life is. Life can be that complicated. It depends on what is applicable to you. I'll give an example of learning from somebody else's mistake. Let's go to Australia. And you watch somebody who's trying to be like Steve Irwin, and he goes up to this brightly, beautifully colored black snake. And it bites him, and he becomes really sick. I'm not going to be that far. He becomes really sick. It was the hospital for a very long time. He can't breathe, paralyzed, everything. You now learn that picking up long, funny-looking black and yellow snakes is dangerous. You do not go, I wonder what effect it'll have on me. Now, it is true if you look at
life and death situations are different.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, I
Oh,
can come up with one from my personal experience then.
Go for it.
I have never, ever, and it can be life or death, but it can also be just minor inconvenience. I have never, ever been drunk in my entire life.
Wow.
Neither have I.
Simply because I watch what what it does to people. Now, it is true, people want to come up with this argument all the time that, Dante, you can drink a little bit and nothing will happen to you, or you'll feel a little buzzed or something. And I just go, well, I just choose not to. I don't know my limits. I've existed on this planet for approximately 28 years without consuming enough alcohol to even have any twinge of being drunk or anything. I do not need to do it. Meanwhile, I've been in the military for 8 years where drinking is like the big culture where I was basically a space alien because I did not drink. Here in college is another example. And I watched the various results that happen when people get drunk. And I say to myself, even for people who, they do it for, people do it for strange reasons, for sexual performances, or for they think they can drive better, or whatever. And I say to myself that I'm doing fine the way I am. There's no need for me to do that. But I watch the effects, and I learn from those effects myself, and I say, I don't want to do that. So, whether death is the end result, or whether you wake up with the hangover from the hat, I've learned from people's mistakes, and I'm going to put it there.
I think like a way that you can think of that is that it's not necessarily like technically you're right and you're wrong. It's like you can't ever know how you would function with lots of alcohol in your system unless you did it yourself.
Yep.
That is something that you do need to do yourself.
Yes.
So people that say that are correct when they say you should do it yourself. But then if the question is, I want to know how alcohol affects people, you don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You can just turn on TV.
That depends on your intent.
Yeah, just watch the Jersey Shore if you can even last 5 minutes of that.
Oh my god, I watched like 2 minutes and I was like, I can't stand this anymore. If I watch this, I will need to go get my brain permanently washed.
That's how I feel with like that Honey Boo Boo show. Like,
Oh,
I've
I
never seen
I
that
literally felt like I was losing brain
No,
cells. I was like becoming stupider as I watched.
the only episode of Jersey Shore I ever saw was the clips of it from the South Park episode. I've never seen any Honey Boo Boo, and I don't want to.
Don't.
No,
Don't experience that. Learn from other people's
What's her
mistakes.
real name?
It's Alana. Yeah,
Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, stop. My brain's
It has enough airtime.
Yeah, that's enough. Stop.
So, free thought.
We'll save the discussion for this after the meeting.
No, we don't even want to talk about it then.
I'd rather drive a fork through my foot.
That's a drink Drano.
I'll hand you that fork.
Drano and vodka?
Yeah.
That would not settle on my tongue.
That would really screw you
It would
over.
It would settle on your pelvis, because that's the only thing that'll stop it.
It'll be less painful than this mess we're talking about. Go ahead.
Anyway, I'm just trying to picture what would actually happen to your organs.
It wouldn't be pretty.
It would basically go right to your esophagus, burn through.
Well, the
You
new-
become septic from your stomach spilling everywhere.
Yeah, but and the new
So you
It would hit
Drano,
your spleen like right away.
the new Drano is a gel. So it would
Oh.
stick in there and it's going down.
And it's a
lying.
basic too. So.
Is it flammable? Because that would just make this whole thing wonderful.
Yes, it's basic and it's flammable.
So, okay, so we
Free
all
thought.
have the worst picture in all of our minds forever now.
Cold talk.
Anyway, how does technology add to free thought? That was the thing that you loosely brought up with Facebook.
I have something to bring up with you.
Go.
I think,
Please say that's not to do with
honestly, I
Drano.
think I'm just gonna use Drano.
Okay, thank you.
I think technology has actually made free thought less prevalent, in my opinion.
Ooh, okay, go
When
on.
I watch TV, I flip through the channels. What do I see? MTV, TLC, Honey Boo Boo. Sorry, I have to bring it up again. And people are just, their minds are filled with garbage. And I feel like they don't think anymore. Like when they watch Jersey Shore, they're like, oh yeah, this is a cool thing to do. I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna be so popular. I'm gonna turn orange and have spiky hair. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think,
I was
like,
going for Pokemon.
I
No,
think
my high school-
technology makes it worse.
My high school had
Okay.
as part of their spirit week, they had a Jersey Shore day.
Okay.
It was awful. Like everyone was dressed as Snooki. It was terrible.
So they wear panties and bras and big hair.
No, well, at the special message, they're like, please follow the dress code. But all these people wore slippers and like bumpets.
I don't know what a bumpet is, and don't tell me.
It just makes your hair really big.
I don't care. Okay. I'd actually give a little bit of a counterpoint to yours. I think that obviously mass media the popular things that everyone wants to watch, even just stuff. Most of what's on Facebook, most of what's on TV or anything, news stories, even the educational things, are kind of ruining us. But at the same time, we live in an age where someone makes an incredible scientific discovery in the middle of Russia, and it'll be in the U.S. in like 3 minutes.
But who actually looks at that? Like, even if it's posted on the
No.
internet, who's actually
It's
going to
not the
go and
No, I don't think it's the fault of technology. I think technology gives us the capacity to be the most like incredible free thinkers ever. Especially like, look at this. We're rambling about nonsense in the basement of a school, and it's on the internet for anyone to see forever.
Well, okay.
So like our thoughts are able to escape.
I-
Now it's up to society to accept it.
Think of YouTube, and I'm going to give YouTube some credit here. One particular group of free thinkers, those darn atheists, believe it or not, there's been what some people call like an atheist uprising or spring ever since the advent of YouTube, because it's a little
The
bit
YouTube atheists.
it's a little bit difficult to be like, I'm an atheist and I'm going to go, like, a lot of people just don't want to go out to the middle of Broad Street or Market Street or some busy street in Philadelphia and go, I am an atheist with a megaphone, you should all listen to me. Because most people, first off, atheist is considered a dirty word in our society, so less people would pay attention to you. And most people just don't really have the time to go out there and publicly speak. Whereas you can go within the very comfort of your home, bring out a camera, talk about your beliefs, whether it's atheism or anything, put it up on YouTube, people look, and then it inspires other people, and it inspires other people, and it inspires other people.
There's a number of openly like people that have become famous solely because of YouTube.
Exactly.
Like
Oh, yeah.
Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot would have been just another run-of-the-mill researcher, and now he's one of the most famous atheists in the world.
The amazing atheist, Seth Andrews, who runs the Thinking Atheist.
The thinking atheist,
Yes.
yeah.
I
remember
never
that.
remember his real name. He had the most heart-wrenching thing for the atheist rally.
Yes.
It was so pretty. Anyway,
Um,
you had some.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Facebook,
Go.
because that's always kind of interesting to me, because I feel like, well, I do know this kid, he goes to my high school, at my former high school, and it's become very clear to me that he's recently decided that he's an atheist, because he's constantly posting these things on the internet, and I'm kind of wondering, I think he's just trying to get a reaction. Because they'll post these things like, you know, if you think there's a God, you're absolutely ridiculous or whatever, and then all these and then there'll be like 50 comments, and just like, well,
Shock
like,
value.
yeah, and just like, I kind of wonder, technology, yeah, it lets you spread your beliefs, but it kind of like leads to these pointless arguments where people are quoting Bibles and like,
It's a double-edged sword.
yeah, precisely,
Absolutely.
and it's just like, I'm just like looking through this, I'm like, this is ridiculous, like, why, you're just trying to get a reaction out of people, you're not actually trying to, I don't feel like you're actually going to change anyone's mind by, just saying these, like, these
Well,
things.
a comment on that one.
Okay,
I do that all the time.
really?
Yes. I don't do it specifically to get shock value. I do it specifically to let people know what's actually going on.
Okay.
And the people that I argue with, I more or less know I'll never change their mind. I know that going in. But the thing about Facebook and the thing about like this debate that we're hopefully going to be hosting later on in this term, is you won't change the person that you're debating. You won't change them whatsoever. But you'll change other people's minds. You'll change people that are listening. You'll
Okay.
change people that are looking at the thread and going like, I never thought of that point. People that aren't actually sure of themselves
Okay.
enough to actually. So I've actually, in the Cynic Stand, Dante's thing, the Cynic Stand is awesome, internet people.
Thank you.
We've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, for later, the idea is I'll argue fervently with people for a really long time. I argued with this one person for 3 solid days.
God.
Tammy. Anyway, and it's people, I've actually had people like comment to me saying thank you for doing this
Really?
because I could never argue for this long.
Wow.
So
Well,
that's why I keep.
I guess just like, you know, I'm just,
And also, it sharpens my skills.
right, I'm
So-
just a very much like, you know, like, yeah, I don't really care what you believe. Like, I'm more of a coexist sort of person.
I'm
So-
too.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know, but like,
If
so I'm-
you bring up your beliefs, I'm gonna fight them.
yeah. But like, you know, so I'm kind of like in the closet on Facebook, like not like,
Well,
No,
not
no.
anymore.
no, not like gay, like I'm straight, but like, I mean like.
I know what you mean.
I
I'm
mean,
just
like,
saying not
atheist
anymore.
closet, yeah. And, well, part of that reason is because I do have like relatives on there, so,
Well-
like older relatives. So I didn't want to like.
So
give
we
them a hard
can
time.
talk about it more in private, but
Yeah.
like that seems like a thing we should talk about.
What
That is
what-
one of my roles is
What
like
in particular?
like closeted atheism.
Closet atheism? Okay.
It's like we can talk about that later. I have experience in that realm.
Really? Okay.
So yeah, that's for private. Stop listening to our private thoughts.
Just real quick, I'm also a master clue batter on Facebook, and what I mean is that master clue batter.
Go on.
I brought a clue. I'm doing it. You know, basically what I'm saying is,
Would it be like a
unlike your
picture?
friend who just puts up and says anyone believes in God is ridiculous, I don't go with that. Even if I think that, I go more on the lines of I pose a controversial question.
Okay.
I'll do something along the lines of how could you believe in this when this, or believe in this and this, and sometimes I'll even compare other like religion to a religion, even though I'm not part of any of those religions. I pose these questions not merely for shock value, although it does pose some interesting conversations, but it's a way that perhaps if I am wrong or something, I don't go in thinking I'm right, because I like to leave that unknown factor there. Because I feel as if even if someone debates me and disagrees with me, I may learn something from that person. And hopefully that person may learn from me. We may not change each other's mind, like they said, but we will take in something. I mean, hopefully that whatever debate we have remains civil, and we don't call each other freaking moron, freaking idiot, but we take something who's like, you know what, that guy, he did come up with a good point. And I want other people, you know, I do it in the audience. Facebook has a big audience, and I want other people to take in, I want other people to interject. And this, again, that free thought, that exchange of information, it should just be flying around. It shouldn't just be huddled in this one little area, or this little area. Should put it out there, see what happens to it. Information, it should spread like a virus. It should be a good virus.
Well, I will tell you, like,
All those good viruses we have.
like channels such as The Thinking Atheist definitely influenced me. Like, you know, when I was first kind of starting out, and I wasn't really sure
Richard Dawkins.
Yes, Richard Dawkins. Oh my gosh.
He's the one that made me
adore him.
vocal. I never
Yeah.
particularly believed in a God.
Yeah.
Not really, but
I was just kind
Dawkins
of-
made me vocal.
You're lucky.
Really unsure. And then, you know, I started, you know, watched The Thinking Atheist, I watched Richard Dawkins, I watched all these people on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, yeah, I like this guy. Like, you know.
Exactly.
Very cool.
So yeah, I mean, internet and other forms of media, they're double-edged swords. You know, it allows you to grab a microphone and speak. Unfortunately, it may be something like Westboro Baptist Church.
We have to let them talk.
Yes, we have to let them
You
talk.
see, I'm fine with letting them talk. Then everyone can see how stupid they are
I just
and how evil they are.
I just like they went to commitment,
Bless
like
you.
you know,
There you
like for the kids who got shot, like at that school, like
Same.
yeah, it's in like
Absolutely reprehensible.
So you see, we have, like, as a civilized society, we have to let people say things we don't want to hear
I know.
to be able to have the right ourselves.
And then they'll hear some people who don't like it.
Yeah, often and
So
loudly
it happens.
and right in their face.
Exactly.
All right, we are at 6:50, or 6:49. That's almost 6:50.
Pretty close.
Around 60 seconds. The longer I talk, the closer we'll get to the 6:50.
That's
Anyway, so we can go around and do just general closing statements, just on the subject, and I'll give a brief, like, synopsis of what I'm doing.
What I will say is, no matter who you are, no matter where you came from, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe in, no matter where you came from, stay open-minded. Question everything. Don't question things. I would say this though, philosophically. Don't question everything to a point where you can't get anything done. There are some things that I feel that we can take for granted. Like, you know, you look at a word, you look at the letter A, and you wonder, where this word? You keep diving in, and then realize that you lost focus of what you were actually looking for. So yeah, when you hear new ideas, question them, be skeptical, even when you're in school, even when the professor says, hey, this is what it is, look it up for yourself. That's basically it. Question everything, be a skeptic, and be open about what other people have to say.
What I would say is like what Dante brought up earlier about not talking as much as you like listen. But there's a quote that says you have one mouth but you have two ears. So definitely listen to what others have to say. Don't just like cut people off, but do formulate your own opinion. Don't take anything just for face value, and do not follow something blindly.
Lovely.
Well, you guys, like, I don't know, I have to go after you guys, you both said it so eloquently. I guess just, like, stand up for what you believe in, you know, but also, you know, because that's who you are, but also be open to different ideas, you know, if someone offers you to go on some sort of, you know, other cultural experience, like, go, like, you know, because you might learn something, you might get some sort of new experience, so, yeah.
I agree. Okay.
Disembodied voice.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry, Joe.
No comment.
You and your disembodied voice.
Wiser words have never been spoken.
All right. As we've been talking, I've been writing down a few general synonyms or similar topics to free thought, and I'm just going to read them off. Free thought is being a skeptic. It's being open-minded. It's promoting free speech and free thought. It's promoting freedom in general. It's willing to listen and understand. It's to not be selective about the things you learn, being open to any new information. And it's about questioning everything, especially things that we've said. We are the Drexel Freethought Society, and we have 8 minutes left. I expected that to take longer. Man, that was such a cool ending.
Closing remarks usually are pretty good.
Right? The opening remarks took like 15 minutes.
Well, those are opening. Opening take longer than closing.
Oh, can we end it earlier now?
Yeah, closing
I guess
usually
technically
is
we can.
like wrapping it up.
Yeah.
We're the Drexel Freethought Society, and this was a really good ending, so I'm going to cut and run while we still have a chance.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Coal tar.
Stay in the various groups that we have. We're on Facebook. We are on, we're on Facebook. We have a Twitter. We have a website at Drexel, It's drexelfreethought.org. Email us, join the forum, join our group on Facebook, comment on our pictures, comment on our threads, go talk to us about anything. Hopefully in the near future, this is going to turn into a call-in show. So the last half of the show is going to be you guys asking us questions.
Yes.
So we would love for that to happen. So tell your friends, spread this around. We're going to put this up on YouTube as quickly as possible.
Do you
We're
even
the Freethought
have
Society.
unlimited time?
Yeah, it's not hard. You email them and you get upgraded.
That's bullshit.
Joe is nonsense.
That's bullshit. It took me
Okay.
4 months to get.
We're
unlimited
done
time.
here. Have a nice day, internet people. Okay then.
Nice.
Hi. Now you get to look at me for several seconds.